a great friend of mine. I have a large number of friends. I'm terribly lucky to have so many friends who I think are wonderful.
Hold on to your hats, because Prince Philip's private letters have unleashed a shockwave that could shake the royal family's foundations. Camilla Parker Bowles was always the specter in Charles and Diana's marriage, but these newly exposed pages reveal exactly how far her influence reached. From Philip's frank criticisms of Charles to his surprising sympathy for Diana, each secret letter drips with scandal and rumors. Wondering whether the monarchy can weather this storm? Brace yourself. This epic drama is only getting started. Philip's private criticism of Charles's affair. Prince Philip was never one to mince words, and his letters about Charles's affair with Camilla Parker Bowles proved just how firm and protective he could be. The public always saw him as a stern figure, but these personal messages shed light on his deep frustration with Charles's behavior and his sympathy for Diana's struggles. Although he and Diana were quite different in temperament, Philip understood that her marriage had been rocked by hurt and betrayal long before the world ever learned its full extent. From the start, Charles's ongoing contact with Camilla stirred unease and suspicion in Diana. Philip, worried about the negative impact on both the monarchy and family harmony, criticized Charles for putting everything on the line. He saw his son's relationship with Camilla not just as a personal failing, but as a potential threat to the royal family's dignity. In one of his letters, Philip apparently called Charles silly for risking his marriage. While this might sound blunt, it also showed his genuine desire to stop Charles from continuing a course that could hurt everybody involved. At the same time, Philip's letters reveal unexpected compassion toward Diana. He recognized that, despite her enormous popularity, she felt lonely and overwhelmed by public scrutiny. He sympathized with her battle to fit into an institution that thrived on formality and restraint. Philip had himself adapted to a life of royal duty, so he grasped the everyday pressures Diana faced, especially once her husband's emotional loyalty seemed to lie elsewhere. Given Diana's vulnerability, Philip worried greatly about Princes William and Harry, who were caught in the chaos. He believed they needed shelter from the constant media coverage and the pain created by their parents' crumbling relationship. In his letters, he urged Diana to focus on the boys' well-being, while also encouraging Charles to think about the damage this scandal could cause. What makes his criticism so striking is that Philip did not just scold Charles out of principle. He was genuinely torn by the effect Camilla's presence had on Diana and the children. He wanted to uphold tradition and maintain a respectable royal image. Still, he felt compelled to speak out once he realized that Charles's actions threatened the stability of the family he had served so faithfully. Though outsiders may never know every word in those private letters, it is clear that Philip's critique went well beyond stiff disapproval. It was, at heart, a father's urgent plea to protect the monarchy and heal the damage caused by a scandal that rocked the royal family to its core. Empathy for Diana. Princess Diana's entry into the royal family was anything but smooth. She was only 20 years old when she married Prince Charles, and, almost immediately, found herself overwhelmed by royal tradition and the unyielding glare of the media. Although some believed Diana's fairy tale wedding would grant her a blissful life, she struggled under the weight of expectation, loneliness, and emotional distress. Surprisingly, one figure who offered understanding, at least in private, was Prince Philip. Often viewed by the public as a stern, no-nonsense patriarch, Prince Philip showed flashes of genuine care and sympathy toward his daughter-in-law. In letters later revealed to the world, Philip acknowledged that Diana faced intense pressure from every side: the press, public expectations, and her own fragile marriage. He recognized that the monarchy's rigid sense of duty clashed sharply with Diana's more open, empathetic approach, leaving her feeling isolated and misunderstood. These letters were striking because they revealed Philip's criticism of his own son. He believed Charles was silly for risking his marriage and the wider image of the monarchy through his bond with Camilla Parker Bowles. But his concern for Diana did not stop with simple words of disapproval toward Charles. Philip also acknowledged the toll that public scrutiny and a failing marriage took on her mental health. He grasped that Diana felt alone despite her global popularity, and wanted her to know she had an ally, even if his style was more blunt than gentle. Another hallmark of Philip's empathy was his focus on protecting William and Harry. He worried about the emotional circus unfolding around them, stressing that they should be shielded as much as possible from the turmoil. It suggests he didn't see Diana as simply a troublesome royal. Rather, he understood she was a devoted mother trying to keep her children safe in an impossible environment. Though no one can say Prince Philip and Diana agreed on everything, his letters show a man who recognized her suffering and sought to alleviate it in the only ways he knew how. He may have been steeped in royal tradition, but at times he laid that aside to empathize with a young princess trapped in a spotlight that grew ever harsher. For Diana, who often felt unseen, it must have been a relief to discover that, behind Philip's formal demeanor, there was a willingness to understand her fears and her pain, concern over public image. For the royal family, maintaining a polished public image has always been paramount. Yet, with Prince Philip's private letters coming into the spotlight, letters that supposedly leak the whole damn thing about Camilla, their controlled facade is once again in question. These letters reveal how important optics were to Prince Philip, Queen Elizabeth, and the entire monarchy, especially during Charles and Diana's volatile marriage. From the start, Philip worried that Charles's continued bond with Camilla Parker Bowles would tarnish the royal family's name. He felt that affairs, or even the rumor of them, chipped away at the mystique the royals had so carefully built. Every public appearance was orchestrated to remind the world of royal stability and tradition. In Philip's eyes, if Charles's relationship with Camilla became too obvious, or if Diana spoke openly about marital betrayals, the monarchy could face a public relations disaster. Philip's private letters often touched on the importance of boundaries. Even when he criticized Charles for being silly enough to risk everything, he was ultimately worried about the ripple effect on the firm's reputation. For him, this wasn't merely a personal failing, it threatened the crown. The monarchy's glossy surface was only as strong as the public's belief in it, and Philip sensed that Charles's behavior, with Camilla always nearby, was eroding that trust. Diana's openness presented another major challenge. Her authentic, emotional demeanor, and later, her explosive panorama interview, broke the unspoken rule of royal discretion. While the public adored Diana for her candor, it rattled Philip's sense of order. He wrote letters urging her, in essence, to keep certain matters private for the sake of William, Harry, and the monarchy's broader image. Still, he sympathized with her. He knew the press spotlight could be relentless, and he seemed torn between supporting Diana's struggles and upholding a centuries-old system that prized silence and restraint. Camilla, always in the background, transformed from a hush-hush friend of Charles to a woman many blamed for the unraveling of the fairy tale. For Philip, her presence threatened not only Diana, but the monarchy itself. In a world where newspapers sold shocking headlines of heartbreak and betrayal, every rumor fed the public's appetite. The letters suggest Philip recognized how quickly public goodwill could vanish once scandal took center stage. Through it all, Philip's overriding concern was to keep the monarchy's image intact, something he believed was vital for its survival. Yet, these newly revealed letters highlight just how fragile that image could be when real emotions, hidden relationships, and a fiendishly curious media converged in one royal storm. Attempts at mediation. Prince Philip's letters reveal that his role as a mediator in Charles and Diana's marriage was far more complicated than anyone suspected. Although many viewed him as a stern, old-school figure, these recently leaked messages illustrate how keen he was to restore harmony in a royal household teetering on the edge. In fact, his dealings with Diana were surprisingly considerate, given his reputation for bluntness. From the start, Philip knew Camilla Parker Bowles stood in the middle of everything. Diana, feeling spurned by Charles's fixation on Camilla, found few allies within the royal family. Yet, Philip's letters show he recognized that Diana was overwhelmed and isolated. He firmly believed that if both sides communicated more honestly, maybe the marriage could be saved. At times, Philip's advice to Diana was unapologetically direct. He did not shy away from criticizing his own son for endangering the monarchy's moral authority through his ongoing relationship with Camilla. Philip hoped these frank opinions might jolt Charles into seeing the damage being done, both to Diana's well-being and to the crown's reputation. He also urged Diana to keep the focus on her children, Princes William and Harry, and not let media chaos consume the boys' childhood. Still, Philip's mediation efforts collided with strong personalities and deep-seated mistrust. Diana's heartbreak ran too deep, and Charles, according to these letters, was unwilling to end his emotional reliance on Camilla. Though Philip held out hope that his blunt perspective and fatherly guidance would bring the couple back together, events quickly spun out of control. The more Charles leaned on Camilla, the more Diana felt betrayed, not just by her husband, but by the traditions that seemed to shield him. Philip tried to protect the monarchy by urging both parties to respect their duties. Yet, the effect was limited. Diana, finding her pleas brushed aside, turned increasingly to the press, further fanning public interest in the scandal. Philip's attempts at mediation reveal a grandfather, father, and royal consort caught in the middle of a painful collision of love, duty, and tradition. His desperate letters were not only designed to patch up a fractured marriage, but also to safeguard the monarchy's public image. Although his efforts could not prevent Charles and Diana's eventual divorce, they remain a testament to Philip's desire to hold the family together while preserving its centuries-old legacy, despite Camilla's undeniable role in the drama. Implications of Charles wanting Diana. Rumors about King Charles wanting Diana out of the way have always been at the heart of conspiracy chatter. But now, Prince Philip's leaked letters have reignited those claims with dramatic force. In these private notes, Philip reveals Diana's deep fears and suggests Charles's ongoing connection to Camilla Parker Bowles played a huge part in the tension. Though there's no official proof Charles hatched any plan against Diana, even the hint of such intentions casts a long shadow over royal history. Philip's letters indicate Diana felt increasingly unsafe in her final years, worried that Charles's frustration and the media circus would push him to desperate measures. Observers believe these fears weren't mere paranoia. The royals, after all, were navigating a tumultuous marriage crisis while juggling a very public image. With Camilla forever in the background, Diana's concern that Charles might want her gone, as the letters seem to imply, added an unsettling dimension to their already fraught relationship. Critics argue no direct link exists between Charles and Diana's tragic passing in 1997. Official investigations blame a fatal car crash, paparazzi pursuit, and a driver under the influence. Yet the leaked letters stoke decades-old whispers that Charles saw Diana as a roadblock to his future with Camilla.
England's rivers are filled with a chemical cocktail of sewage, agricultural waste and plastic.
In a shocking turn of events, Prince William's son, Prince George, has just broken silence, and the world is shocked. For years, the young royals have stayed under the radar, but the unexpected words from the young prince have left the public in complete awe. What could he possibly have to say that's so bold? The royal family is now in the spotlight like never before. You won't believe what Prince William's kid just revealed. Prince George's growing role as a royal Prince George, the eldest child of Prince William and Princess Catherine, has long been in the spotlight, but recently he has been doing something that's left everyone talking, and it's not just his adorable smile. As he matures, Prince George is stepping into a bigger role within the royal family, and let's just say, the world wasn't prepared for what happened next. Known for being in line to the British throne, George's presence at royal events has become more frequent, but it's his actions that have been turning heads. Recently, during a royal event, Prince George did something that shocked everyone and made headlines around the world. In a rare moment of confidence, George spoke out on a major cause: environmental protection. Yes, you heard that right. At just 10 years old, George shared his thoughts on sustainability and the importance of protecting the planet. His eloquence and passion for the subject were unexpected, especially for a child of his age. This wasn't just a fleeting comment. Prince George is growing into a young royal who isn't afraid to express himself and take on responsibilities that his predecessors might not have at such a young age. The moment he spoke about such a critical issue sent shockwaves across the media, proving that George isn't just the future king. He's already starting to carve his own path. The royal family, known for its careful balance of tradition and modernity, is clearly embracing George's individuality. His parents, Prince William and Kate, have always made it a point to raise their children with a strong sense of independence, and it shows. They want George to be more than just a figurehead of the monarchy. They want him to be someone who understands the world and the challenges it faces. As he grows older, Prince George's role will continue to expand, and with moments like this, he's already proving that he's ready for it. His ability to tackle serious issues at such a young age is just one example of how the monarchy is evolving with the times. With the world watching, there's no doubt that Prince George will surprise us even more as he prepares to one day lead the British people. If this moment was any indication, Prince George's future as a royal is going to be far more exciting and impactful than anyone could have ever predicted. Prince George's rare public statement. Prince George, the young heir to the British throne, has always lived his life under the constant gaze of the public eye. But recently, he did something that left everyone completely stunned. In a rare public statement, the 10-year-old son of Prince William and Princess Catherine spoke out about a topic that no one expected, and it immediately went viral. It all happened during a royal event, where Prince George, usually seen quietly by his parents' side, stepped forward and shared his thoughts on an issue that's been on everyone's minds: the environment. Yes, Prince George, at just a decade old, publicly voiced his concerns about the future of our planet. In an age where environmental issues dominate headlines, his statement had an instant impact. George expressed his desire to help protect the planet for future generations, showing that even at such a young age, he is aware of the world's challenges. What shocked everyone wasn't just that he spoke out, but how eloquently he did it. This wasn't the usual childlike comment you'd expect from a royal youngling. Prince George sounded mature and thoughtful, showing an understanding of the urgency around climate change that many adults might struggle to communicate. It wasn't just a casual remark. This was a powerful, rare statement from a future king that demonstrated his growing awareness of global issues. This bold move is a reflection of the new generation of royals. Prince William and Kate have always raised their children with a focus on responsibility, empathy, and social awareness, and George's statement is a clear sign that the royal family is ready for change. Prince George isn't just a figurehead. He's growing into someone who could use his platform to make a difference. The world was left in awe after hearing George's comments, and rightfully so. His rare public statement shows a royal future that's not just about pageantry and tradition. It's about using their position to create real change. The question now is, what will Prince George do next? With this unexpected moment, Prince George has proven he's more than ready for his role as a future leader. And if this is just a glimpse of his future, then we can't wait to see what comes next. Unexpected impact of his words. When Prince George, the young son of Prince William and Kate Middleton, made a rare public statement recently, he did something that shocked the world. He spoke about an issue that most people wouldn't expect from someone of his age, let alone a future king. His words left a lasting impact, sparking discussions across the globe. So, what exactly did he say? And why did it cause such a stir? It all started at a royal event, where Prince George, known for his reserved nature and typically staying in the background, surprised everyone by speaking out on a serious topic: the environment. With the world grappling with climate change, pollution, and the future of our planet, George's comments on how important it is to protect the Earth resonated deeply. The surprising part? He didn't just repeat a scripted message. His words were thoughtful, heartfelt, and showed an understanding far beyond his years. The impact was immediate. News outlets picked up the story, social media exploded, and people from all corners of the world were buzzing. Many were taken aback by how mature and aware Prince George seemed. For a royal child, especially one so young, this kind of public stance is rare. It wasn't just a moment of royal tradition. It was a young heir stepping forward and making his voice heard in a meaningful way. But why was this such a big deal? The royal family has always been seen as figures of stability and tradition. Rarely do they break away from formality to express personal thoughts, especially the younger generation. When George spoke out, it signified a new era in which the royals might become more relatable and involved in the pressing issues of our time. In a world where many leaders are slow to act on climate change, George's words felt fresh, urgent, and hopeful. Moreover, his statement shined a light on how Prince William and Kate have been raising their children to be socially conscious. This wasn't just a random comment. It showed that Prince George is being taught to think critically about the world and his future role within it. This rare glimpse into his character has left many wondering if he will continue to use his platform for causes like climate change, social justice, and human rights. So, what can we expect from Prince George moving forward? His words have set the stage for a royal future that may be less about ceremonial duties and more about real-world impact. The unexpected consequences of his speech have made the world realize Prince George isn't just a child waiting to inherit the throne. He's already beginning to shape the legacy he'll one day lead. Prince George's role in modern royal family. Prince George, the eldest child of Prince William and Kate Middleton, is stepping into a bigger role than ever before in the royal spotlight. As the future King of England, his journey is already capturing the world's attention, and he's proving that he's more than just a cute face in the royal family. His growing presence is changing the way people view the monarchy and its future. From his first public appearances as a toddler to his recent participation in royal events, Prince George has been slowly carving out his place in the royal family's ever-evolving narrative. But it's clear that he's not just following in his father's or grandfather's footsteps. Prince George is paving the way for a modern monarchy that's connected with today's world. His role is becoming more prominent as he grows older, and with it, expectations are rising. Prince George has already displayed a level of maturity beyond his years. Whether attending official events, participating in royal tours, or even engaging with the public, his presence has never been just about being seen. Every appearance seems to signal that George is getting ready for a future where he will be an active player in shaping the royal family's legacy. One of the most notable aspects of Prince George's role is how he's being groomed to take on modern-day responsibilities. Unlike the royals of the past, who focused mostly on ceremonial duties, the younger generation is expected to be more hands-on with social issues. Prince George is growing up in a world where climate change, social justice, and global peace are front and center, and it's clear that his parents want him to be aware and involved. It's no surprise that he's already shown interest in charity work and environmental causes, two areas that are close to his parents' hearts. As the future king, Prince George's role will continue to evolve, and his ability to connect with the public will be key. The monarchy is no longer just about tradition. It's about relevance in the modern world. And Prince George, with his growing confidence, is showing that he's ready to be a part of that change. His impact, though subtle now, is only set to grow as he matures into his role. Prince George's journey into the royal spotlight proves one thing: the future of the monarchy is in good hands. With his natural charisma, intelligence, and deep connection to the modern world, Prince George is set to play a key role in the royal family for years to come. Parental influence on George's development. Prince George, the future King of England, may only be a child, but the impact of his parents, Prince William and Kate Middleton, on his development is already clear. As the eldest son in the royal family, his upbringing is not only being watched by the world, but is also crucial in shaping the kind of leader he will become. From a young age, Prince George has been molded by his parents' values, which are centered on kindness, responsibility, and a sense of duty. Unlike some other royal children, Prince William and Kate have made a conscious effort to raise George with a sense of normalcy. They ensure that he has a strong bond with his siblings, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, and tries to give them a childhood that is as private and carefree as possible in the public eye. Prince William, who has always been vocal about wanting his children to experience a normal childhood, has placed great emphasis on family life. Prince George has already been seen enjoying simple activities like playing with his siblings and spending time with his parents in the countryside. This focus on family values is something that will help him grow into a grounded and compassionate future monarch. Kate, on the other hand, has been equally influential in George's development. Known for her commitment to raising her children with a strong moral compass, she is actively involved in teaching her children about kindness, empathy, and the importance of giving back. Kate's interest in early childhood development has also played a key role in shaping George's education. She is a firm believer in the power of play, and it's clear that George's childhood is full of both learning and fun. One of the most notable aspects of Prince George's upbringing is the balance between royal duties and personal life. While he attends public events with his parents and is already a key part of royal engagements, his parents ensure that his childhood isn't overshadowed by royal obligations. Instead, they prioritize his well-being and personal growth, focusing on developing his emotional intelligence, social skills, and sense of responsibility. As Prince George grows, it's clear that the influence of Prince William and Kate Middleton will continue to guide him. Their parenting style, which balances tradition with a modern approach, will shape him into a monarch who is not only beloved by the people, but also capable of leading with empathy and understanding. It's no surprise that the future King of England is being raised with such a strong foundation. It's clear that George's parents are already preparing him for greatness. Global reaction to George's statement. When Prince George, the future King of England, made his rare public statement, the world was stunned. This wasn't just another royal appearance or a charming moment caught on camera. It was a statement that sent shockwaves through global media. People from all corners of the globe stopped to listen, as the young royal's words carried unexpected weight, sparking conversations and debates worldwide. The moment came during a casual royal event, where Prince George was asked a simple question. But what he said left many in awe. His words, though coming from a young boy, were remarkably mature and insightful, reflecting the core values he has likely been instilled with by his parents, Prince William and Kate Middleton. His statement quickly went viral, circulating across news outlets, social media platforms, and even forums, as people tried to decode the meaning behind his words. The reaction was nothing short of extraordinary. Royal fans, experts, and commentators all scrambled to interpret what this rare public statement meant for the future of the monarchy. Some viewed it as a sign that Prince George was already stepping into his royal role with confidence, showing maturity beyond his years. Others marveled at how grounded and thoughtful the young prince seemed, considering the immense pressure that comes with being part of the royal family. International media outlets were quick to cover the statement, with many praising the balance between George's youthful innocence and the wisdom of his words. British tabloids highlighted how the young royal's demeanor was remarkably composed, especially for someone so young, while global networks like CNN and BBC dove into a deeper analysis of the impact his statement could have on the monarchy's future. On social media, the reaction was overwhelmingly positive. Fans of the royal family flooded platforms like Twitter and Instagram with their thoughts, with many calling George's words inspiring and wise beyond his years. Hashtags like #FutureKing and #PrinceGeorgeInspires started trending, as people shared their admiration for the young prince's composure and thoughtfulness. But not everyone was completely taken aback by George's statement. Some critics questioned whether his public remark was too polished for his age, speculating that it might have been carefully scripted by his parents or royal advisors. However, many agreed that regardless of the origin, the statement reflected a new era in the royal family, one that values transparency, relatability, and modernity. Potential shift in the royal family's public engagement. The royal family has long been known for its dignified silence and carefully crafted public image. But a recent shift in public engagement may signal a dramatic change in how they interact with the world. Prince George, the young heir to the throne, has been at the center of this transformation, and his latest actions have sparked conversations about what's next for the British monarchy. For years, the royal family has followed a relatively traditional model, appearing at high-profile events, making brief public statements, and largely staying out of the spotlight when it comes to personal opinions. However, with the younger generation stepping up, particularly Prince William and Kate Middleton's children, it seems like a fresh approach is on the horizon. One key moment that fueled speculation about a shift came when Prince George made his rare public statement that left everyone stunned. His words were not only mature for his age, but also surprisingly candid, offering a glimpse into a royal family that is more open and relatable than ever before. This moment seemed to suggest that the royals are ready to step into a new era of engagement, one where they communicate more directly with the public and show a more human side. The potential shift in the royal family's public engagement could have far-reaching implications. Historically, the monarchy has maintained a barrier between themselves and the public, with every word and gesture carefully controlled by advisors. But as we've seen with Prince George and his siblings, the next generation, is more comfortable with modern communication tools and isn't afraid to speak their minds, whether it's on social media or in public speeches. What does this mean for the future of the monarchy? Experts believe that this could signal a more interactive approach to royal duties, where the royals take a more active role in shaping public discourse and connecting with the people they serve. Social media, in particular, could play a significant role in this transformation, offering the royal family a platform to share their personal thoughts and experiences in a way that wasn't possible before. Future of Prince George as a monarch. The future of the British monarchy is in the hands of the next generation, and all eyes are on one young royal, Prince George. As the eldest son of Prince William and Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, Prince George is next in line to the throne, and his future role as monarch could bring about dramatic changes for the royal family. But what can we expect from him as a future king? From the moment Prince George was born, the world has eagerly watched his every move. Now, as he grows older, he's showing signs that he could be a different kind of monarch, one who's more relatable and connected to the modern world. His recent actions, including his rare public statements and his increasingly confident presence in royal duties, have led many to wonder, could Prince George redefine what it means to be a king? In the past, British monarchs have been seen as distant figures, always maintaining a formal and somewhat aloof image. However, with Prince George, there's a shift happening. He's growing up in a digital age where social media reigns, and the lines between public figures and their audiences are becoming more blurred. Could this mean that Prince George will be the first monarch to truly embrace the digital age and engage directly with the public through platforms like Instagram, Twitter, or even TikTok? Beyond his use of technology, Prince George's role in the royal family is already evolving. As he takes on more responsibilities, such as attending public events, representing the family, and gradually assuming more official duties, we can expect him to become a much more hands-on monarch than his predecessors. His upbringing, shaped by Prince William and Kate Middleton's modern and progressive values, is likely to inspire him to lead with a focus on transparency, empathy, and relatability. The future of the monarchy under Prince George could also see a shift in how the royal family engages with global issues. As the world faces challenges like climate change, inequality, and political instability, the royal family may take on a more vocal role in addressing these topics, particularly with a younger monarch at the helm. Prince William and Princess Catherine's parenting. When it comes to parenting, Prince William and Princess Catherine, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, have taken a refreshingly modern approach that's earned them widespread admiration. As the parents of 3 young children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, they've carved out a style that balances tradition with the realities of raising kids in today's world. But what exactly makes their parenting so special, and how are they shaping the future of the royal family? First and foremost, Prince William and Catherine have made it clear that family comes first. Despite their royal duties, they prioritize their children's well-being and personal development. From attending school events to taking family vacations, the couple goes to great lengths to ensure their children experience a childhood that's as normal as possible given their royal status. This focus on family has made them relatable to the public, earning them respect and admiration from commoners and royals alike. But it's not just about being present, it's about being engaged. Catherine, in particular, has often spoken about the importance of providing her children with a strong emotional foundation. She encourages them to express their feelings and be kind to others, a practice that's both gentle and progressive. Prince William shares similar sentiments, making it clear that their goal is to raise confident, compassionate children who understand the importance of empathy and kindness. One of the most striking aspects of their parenting is their commitment to teaching their children resilience. Both Prince William and Catherine have been open about the struggles they've faced in their own lives, particularly with the pressures of public life. By sharing their own experiences, they hope to show their children how to cope with challenges, face adversity, and bounce back stronger. Another key part of their approach is encouraging independence. Rather than sheltering their children from the outside world, the Duke and Duchess are fostering a sense of independence by allowing their children to engage in everyday activities like school projects, sports, and even charity work. These experiences helped Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis develop a well-rounded perspective on life and their royal responsibilities. George's potential influence on the future monarchy. Prince George, the eldest son of Prince William and Princess Catherine, is more than just a future king. He's a symbol of a new generation that could reshape the British monarchy. At just 10 years old, George's potential influence on the future of the royal family is already sparking curiosity and excitement. As the world eagerly watches his every move, it's clear that George could be a pivotal figure in transforming the monarchy for years to come. One of the most exciting aspects of Prince George's future is the way he's being raised. Unlike previous generations of royals, who grew up in a more traditional and reserved environment, George is experiencing a more modern upbringing. His parents, Prince William and Princess Catherine, have emphasized the importance of giving George and his siblings a grounded and relatable childhood. This down-to-earth parenting style could make George a more approachable figure when he eventually takes the throne, something the monarchy has been working towards for years. But George's potential to influence the monarchy goes beyond his upbringing. His presence in the public eye is already breaking royal norms. From attending public events with his parents to occasionally showing glimpses of his personality in the media, George is becoming more relatable to the people of the UK and beyond. In a time when people are increasingly looking for authenticity from their leaders, George could be the royal who leads the way in connecting with the modern world. In addition, George's growing role in the royal family could bring new focus to key issues like mental health, education, and sustainability, topics that are important to younger generations. His parents have already shown a deep commitment to these causes, and it's likely George will continue this legacy. As he matures, he could use his platform to advocate for change and lead initiatives that resonate with people all over the world, ensuring the monarchy stays relevant and progressive. Moreover, with George's eventual role as the future king, there's a real possibility that he will usher in a more streamlined and modern monarchy, one that places greater importance on personal connection and social impact. His youth, intelligence, and grounded nature could make him a royal figure who doesn't just inherit the crown, but also redefines it. In the end, Prince George isn't just the future king, he's the future of the monarchy itself. With his potential to connect with the people, embrace modern values, and create positive change, George could be the monarch who leads the British royal family into a new, more inclusive era. But now, something about them is different. Something so powerful that it brought out emotions he couldn't hold back. Those who know him say they've never seen him like this before. What really happened to his children? And why did it move him to tears? The truth behind this moment is something no one expected. The unexpected moment that touched Prince Harry's heart. It was a normal sunny afternoon in Montecito, California, where Prince Harry and Meghan Markle now live with their two beautiful children, Archie and Lilibet. Far away from the noise, the paparazzi, and the royal expectations, the family has built a peaceful life, simple, quiet, and full of love. But sometimes, even in the most ordinary days, life surprises us with moments that hit right in the heart. And that day, Prince Harry found himself standing still, his eyes filled with tears, watching his children do something that he never expected. What unfolded in front of him wasn't dramatic or grand. It was simple, pure, and deeply emotional, the kind of moment every parent lives for but can never predict. It was a moment that reminded Harry of his mother, Princess Diana, and everything he had left behind in his royal life. It was the kind of moment that made him realize maybe all his tough choices were worth it after all. Archie's unexpected act of kindness. That afternoon, Archie was playing outside, his little feet running around the garden, chasing butterflies and laughing freely, the way children should. The sky was clear, and the air smelled like fresh flowers. Meghans sat nearby, watching her children, while Harry stood at a distance, smiling. For once, there were no cameras, no flashing lights, just family. Suddenly, Archie stopped. He spotted something that made him pause. A tiny bird, fallen from its nest, laying helpless on the grass. The poor thing looked weak and scared, fluttering its tiny wings, but unable to fly. Most children might have ignored it or called out for help. But Archie did something no one expected. slowly, carefully. Archie walked over and knelt down next to the little bird. He looked at it with the softest eyes, full of concern, as if he could feel the little creature's pain. And then, in the sweetest voice, he whispered, "It's okay, little bird. I'm here. Don't be scared." He reached out his small hands but didn't touch, just staying close, letting the bird know it wasn't alone. Harry watched this unfold, and his heart ached in the best way possible. Right there, in that moment, he saw his own mother. Princess Diana was known for her kindness, her ability to care deeply for the most helpless. She used to comfort the sick, hold the hands of those everyone else ignored, and always chose love over everything else. Watching Archie, Harry felt like his mother's spirit was right there. Not in some big royal event, but in this small, beautiful act of kindness. He couldn't stop the tears. They filled his eyes and rolled down his cheeks because he knew Diana would have been so proud. Lilibet's beautiful surprise. And just as Harry wiped his tears, trying to steady his breath, another surprise came. This time from little Lilibet. Sweet, curious Lilibet, named after Queen Elizabeth's childhood nickname, was sitting nearby watching everything. She stood up, her little hands brushing down her dress, as if preparing herself to say something important. She walked over to where her father stood, and in the softest, most innocent British accent, she asked, "Daddy, isn't it beautiful?" She pointed toward the garden, where flowers were blooming and birds were singing. Her voice was light, graceful, and carried a certain charm that caught Harry off guard. What struck Harry the most wasn't just the words, but the way she spoke, with a poise that seemed far beyond her age. Even though Lilibet was born in America and had spent all her young life away from the royal palace, there was something undeniably royal in that moment. Her gentle accent, her careful words, it felt like a piece of his heritage. Something Harry thought his children might lose by living so far from home was still there, alive in her. Harry looked at Meghan, who smiled softly, her eyes sparkling with pride. They both knew they had tried hard to create a life that was free from royal pressure. But hearing Lilibet speak like that, it was as if their past and present had met right there in their garden. Why this moment moved Prince Harry to tears. For Prince Harry, this wasn't just another afternoon. This moment, simple as it was, carried the weight of everything he had ever felt. His love, his loss, his dreams, and his fears. Seeing Archie's kindness reminded him so strongly of Diana that it almost felt like she was watching them. It was like she had passed her best qualities on to her grandson without even being here. That thought alone was enough to break Harry's heart open, but in a good way. And then Lilibet, with her royal grace and soft accent, brought Harry right back to his roots. It reminded him that no matter where they live, or how far they are from the palace, his children are still part of that history. Part of that royal bloodline. But what made him cry wasn't pride in their royal status. It was the realization that his children were growing up carrying the best parts of that legacy. Kindness, empathy, grace, not the duty or the heavy expectations that had once crushed him. Harry had spent years struggling with the pain of losing his mother, fighting against the royal system, and trying to protect his family. There were days when he must have wondered if he made the right choice leaving the royal life behind. But that day, watching his children, he got his answer. His tears were not of sadness but of relief, pride, and overwhelming love. Meghan Markle's quiet strength. In that moment and through it all, Meghan stood by, watching her husband and her children with a knowing smile. She didn't say much, but her pride was clear in her eyes. Meghan has been Harry's anchor through so many storms. She helped him break free from a life that was breaking him. She gave him the space to heal, to be the father he always wanted to be. Together, Harry and Meghan promised each other they would raise their children differently, with love, freedom, and emotional safety. No royal duties, no strict protocols, just kindness, honesty, and respect for every living being. That afternoon, they saw the result of that promise right in front of them. Meghan must have felt a rush of emotions too. seeing her children so naturally embody both their American upbringing and their royal roots. It was a perfect balance, and it showed her that they were doing something right. Their children were growing up strong, kind, and full of love, everything any parent could wish for. The unspoken connection to Princess Diana. As Harry stood there, tears still fresh in his eyes, one thing became very clear. His mother was still with him. Not physically, but in spirit. Through Archie's empathy and Lilibet's grace, Diana lived on. Harry had always feared that by leaving the royal family, his children would lose that connection. But in that small moment, he realized they hadn't lost anything. Instead, they had gained something even more precious: the freedom to be who they truly are, while still carrying the best parts of their history. There was a time when Harry was just a little boy, walking behind his mother's coffin, trying to stay strong. He had lost her too soon, and that pain shaped him. But now, as a grown man, he was watching his own children grow, not in the shadow of pain, but in the light of love. The beauty of choosing love over royal duty. That moment in the garden was more than just about a bird or a sweet British accent. It was about what truly matters in life: love, kindness, empathy, and family. Harry chose to leave everything he knew behind to protect his family. He faced judgment, criticism, and hate. But that day, watching his children, he knew it was all worth it. Because in the end, titles and crowns don't matter. What matters is raising children who know how to care for others, who speak with kindness, and who aren't afraid to show love. That is the real legacy Harry wants to leave behind. Not the royal throne, but a family that heals the wounds of the past.
The princess, who spent her life in the relentless glare of the public eye, died in a speeding car in Paris, apparently trying to evade pursuing photographers.
August 31st, 1997. A night that shook the world. A princess, a car, a tunnel in Paris, and then silence. But before that tragic moment, before the flashing lights and the chaos, there was something else. A message. A final warning. Hidden for years, buried beneath rumors and speculation. Now, for the first time, the truth comes to light. What did Princess Diana say at 35 just before her untimely death? And why does it send chills down the spine even today? The chilling final message. Have you ever had a strong feeling that something bad was going to happen? A feeling so deep that you couldn't shake it off? Now, imagine writing that fear down, putting your worst thoughts into words, only for them to come true in the most tragic way possible. That's exactly what happened to a beloved public figure, a woman admired by millions, a woman who was once part of a powerful family, but later became their biggest problem. 2 years before her shocking and untimely passing, she wrote a message. A message that still haunts those who read it. A message that seemed to predict her own death. So, what exactly was in this letter? What did she write that made so many people believe she knew she was in danger? The letter was addressed to someone she trusted, a person who had been by her side for years. In it, she made a terrifying claim. She believed there was a plan to get rid of her, not in an obvious way, but in a way that would look completely accidental. She wrote, "I am sitting here today, feeling afraid. This phase of my life is the most dangerous." Then came the most chilling part. "There are plans for an accident in my car, brake failure, a head injury. It will be done to clear the way." Think about that for a second. She wrote those words 2 years before she died in a car crash. And what was the cause? A serious head injury. Does that sound like just a coincidence? Or was she warning the world in advance? Why did she write it? Now you might be wondering, why would she write something like this? Was she just being paranoid? Or was there something going on behind the scenes that the public didn't know about? By this time, her life had already changed completely. She was no longer part of the family she once belonged to. The marriage that had made her famous was over. She was no longer the quiet, smiling figure the world had once adored. She was speaking out. She was sharing secrets. And more importantly, She was becoming too powerful. People still loved her. Maybe even too much. She had a voice, and the world was listening. And that made her dangerous. She told close friends she was afraid. She felt like she was being watched. She believed her phone was tapped. She even told her personal security that if something ever happened to her, people should question it. Now stop and think for a moment. How often does someone say, "If I die, don't believe it was an accident"? That's not something a person says unless they truly believe they are in danger. And she believed it. She had seen what happened when someone got in the way of the powerful. She had seen how things were controlled, how stories were shaped, how problems were made to disappear. And she had become a problem. She wasn't just another face in a famous family anymore. She was bigger than that. She had built a name for herself, separate from them. She had the love of millions, and she used that influence to do things they didn't approve of. And once she started speaking up, the whispers began. Tensions with the powerful and the watchful eyes. Her relationship with those in control had started off well. At first, they embraced her. She was young, beautiful, and perfect for the role she had been given. But over time, something changed. She was no longer following the script. She was no longer doing what was expected. And that was a problem. She knew too much. She had seen too much. And most of all, she wasn't afraid anymore. She once told a friend that she found hidden devices in her home, that her calls sounded different, like someone was always listening. And she even said that her car had been tampered with before. And if that wasn't disturbing enough, she once asked a member of her security team a terrifying question. "Are you going to kill me?" Just let that sink in. A woman, once loved by the world, asking the people who were meant to protect her if they were planning to take her life. These were not the words of someone imagining things. These were the words of someone who felt the walls closing in. And then, 2 years later, her nightmare became a reality. Diana's last days. Princess. Diana's final days were filled with love, happiness, and fear. She was in love, but she was also being watched. She was trying to live freely, but she couldn't escape the cameras. And on the night of August 30th, 1997, everything changed forever. Diana had spent her last summer with a new man, Dodi Fayed. He was the son of Mohammed Al-Fayed, the owner of Harrods and one of the richest men in the world. He was charming, wealthy, and deeply in love with Diana. Together, they sailed through the Mediterranean on his luxurious yacht. Photographs of them kissing and holding hands were on every newspaper and magazine cover. To the world, it looked like a fairy tale. But was it? Diana had always attracted attention, but now, the media obsession had reached a dangerous level. Paparazzi followed them everywhere. Every move she made, every moment of her private life, was caught on camera. Some believe that this media frenzy was just because of her fame. Others think it was something more. Diana was a woman with influence. She spoke against landmines. She challenged the royal family. She was seen as a threat by some powerful people. Was she being followed just for pictures? Or was she being watched for something else? On August 30th, 1997, she and Dodi arrived in Paris. It was supposed to be just another night. Instead, it would be her last. Diana hated the paparazzi. They had chased her for years. They had broken into her privacy, snapped pictures of her crying, followed her even when she tried to be alone. But in Paris, things were worse than ever.